Craven has always been one of my favorite filmmakers, usually ranking in the top 5, if not at least top 10 directors of all time, in my opinion, at least as far as horror films are concerned, because he's always been at the forefront of almost every genre. I don't want to speak out of turn, but mind you, I'll try to give you an idea. But Last House on the Left, the beginning of the exploitation, rape, revenge genre. I'm sure somebody can tell me some kind of antecedent before that, but these were all kind of flashpoints. Hills Have Eyes. I don't know what genre that was the beginning of, but it was definitely perhaps hitched onto the Mad Max genre. In the 80s, Nightmare on Elm Street totally flipped slasher films on their head in the mid 80s, when the genre was starting to lag, and came along and redefined everything. And then of course Scream, which is the other paradigm shifting movie. But before that, he did movies that deserved to be paradigm shifting. The Serpent and the Rainbow, fantastic movie, highly underrated gem, a true horrific zombie movie about true story. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. I'm so much of a Wes Craven geek that I actually even have a copy of Curse, but I will admit that I got that for $3 used at the video store when they were going out of business. So, but hey, I'll drop $3 on something. So let's get back to Scream. Scream came along in the mid 90s, 96, and this was at a time when horror was really in the dumps. The genre on the whole wasn't making a lot of money. People weren't talking about it, and there was nothing that had been coming out in the ensuing years that was getting people excited. I mean, we had some films come out that are now, in retrospect, considered classics, if not cult classics, at least cult classics. And somebody will get pissed if I call them all classics, because I'm talking about movies like Army of Darkness, A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 7, Wes Craven's New Nightmare. What else? Near Dark, or was that late 80s? But anyway, you can see there was a definite drought of horror films in the mid 90s. And the Scream came out. It was interesting for me. I had actually seen Army of Darkness and New Nightmare in the theater. Oh, In the Mouth of Madness. I remember liking them both, but not being really terrified or overly impressed for them. In retrospect, I've learned to like both of them a whole lot more, and now that I know what I'm going into with them. It's funny how that happens with movies, how we'll have our minds set in one way when we first see it, and then upon repeated viewings and upon having time to think about it, one's opinion can change. But I always try to take that into account. But Scream, it came out, I remember seeing the trailers. I didn't even want to go see it in the theater. My girlfriend at the time went and saw it, and came back and told me I would just love it. She said, "Oh, you'd just love it. It was great." And I'm like, "Oh, the trailer just looks stupid." And I never got to see it in the theater. I had to wait till it came out on VHS, and then now I saw it on VHS. I was just blown away by it. I was like, "Oh, this is awesome. It's totally changes everything." It had this postmodern element to it that examined the entire genre, but then also moved it forward and paid homage to, stayed true to the genre, but then turned all the expectations on their head. So Scream kind of blew me away, and at the time it revitalized the entire genre. There was a true paradigm shift, because afterwards, I mean, even in the artwork, I mean, poster art changed and it became this kind of sea of faces. The formula for the way movies were made was changed. They kept trying to find TV stars to plug into these, cheap pot boiler horror films. Hopefully try to mass market it to the mindless masses out there. It didn't always work. In a lot of cases it didn't work outside of the Scream series.